All right, so here is the paper prototype of my demo game, which is really going to be a Zelda-esque type game that's used as part of my curriculum for teaching game design from start to finish for my high school students in my computer programming 4 class. So this game, it's skinned, so it's going to be called RedBeard Run, and it's really going to be kind of starring me, but some of the mechanics are going to be really similar to these Zelda type games. So we first get to the title screen, and then we after that loads, then it's going to go to a save spot. They can choose, save A, save B, whatever one they click on. So if I go and I click save A, it's going to open up for me. If this is the first time that I've done it, it's going to open up another dialog menu screen for me to be able to type in the name. This keyboard is actually going to be the keyboard from the mobile phone. It's not going to be a keyboard that's displayed. So they would go ahead and type in their name, and then on the save spot, the next time that they go there, it's going to actually have their name on there that they put for their save. So then it's going to open up to transition from the main screen, that menu screen, to their main game, okay, which it's going to have a HUD screen with an area for melee, an area for the ranged weapon. This is the life bars that they have. They collect dragoons in the game, and then you can also collect potions, and potions can be used to heal your player, or if you have, or you can also use them to add additional life. And the top left, this is kind of a map, so our player would be in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, so movements, this is our main character. Movements are going to be based off of touchscreen controls. So if I'm trying to move, it's going to be part of a pathing program. So if I want to move here, I'm going to tap, and the player is going to move there in the most efficient way, avoiding all obstacles. Okay, so if I tap, he's going to move. So I'm not going to have any buttons on the screen. It's just going to, what the player's going to see is just the HUD and the player on the screen. Now, if he starts moving towards an opening, so let me just move the HUD out of the way so we can see. The camera focus is going to keep the player in each basic section. So as soon as he moves up, like he's going to go towards that area, then the camera focus is going to move up and push the player so he's at the very bottom of that screen. Okay. So then again, we can just move, tap, and he moves around, tap, and he moves back, the most efficient method. Now, the player does not start with a weapon. That would be from going into a cave. So if we have the camera focus down here, and we can see that from his HUD screen, we can see that he does not currently have any type of melee weapon, so he would go into the cave, and then the screen is going to go over to, it's going to focus on the cave. And the cave is really a point where he can come in and he will meet an NPC character. There will be 2 variations of NPC characters. There's going to be one that is going to be a static NPC character, and there's going to be another one that's going to actually be roving around in the game. So he goes and talks to the NPC character. If he doesn't currently have a sword, that will be the first thing that he sees, and he can collect the sword, and then his player will have the sword, and it will show up in his melee screen like that. Okay, and then the NPC character will go ahead and disappear, and he can go around. Now, when he ends up moving, this is the difference on movement to incorporate for when there is any type of attack. So if he is fighting the slithering snakes, this is kind of the easy enemy character. Kind of moves in a predictable pattern. Really simple state machine. In order to attack, again, he can tap anywhere to move. Tap anywhere to move. And when this happens, the character is going to be moving in that direction. So he's going to be facing in that direction. That means that when he attacks, he will be attacking in the direction that he is currently facing. So if I tap here towards the slithering snake, in order to do an attack, all I'm doing is I'm double tapping on the player. He attacks the snake. The snake then is going to end up dying when his life reaches 0 and is going to give a dragoon. So the player can go ahead and collect those. The dragoon level is going to go up. Okay. Now, eventually he will be able to do a spin attack. So in order to do that, instead of double tapping would mean that he's attacking. So if he's facing left and he double taps, he's going to be attacking, or excuse me, he's going to be attacking to the right. If I'm facing to the left and I double tap, I'm going to be attacking to the left. So we're taking a lot of the movement out, but it will change the playability of how you're playing a Zelda-esque type game, because you have to kind of strategically plan how you're going to be doing the attacks. For a spin attack, all it would be is that you are just pressing and holding on the player, and he will attack in 360 degrees. Okay, it takes a little bit of time for build-up, so he has to plan ahead. The range attack. So if a player moves to a different screen and he wants to do a range attack, then and that will only work once he actually has a ranged weapon, which is going to be just a bow and arrow for initially, and then he can add on as the high school students need more challenges, they can add on additional type weapons. So it's really only going to have one melee weapon, which is going to be a sword, and one weapon, which is going to be the bow and arrow. Okay, now when he wants to do a ranged attack, he's going to tap once on him and then once in the direction that he wants to go. And again, it's only going to fly straight in the direction where he's facing. So even if the player is off like this, if he taps once and he taps in the direction, so he could go like this, the arrow is just going to fly. It's going to miss that snake. But if they were lined up, tap once, tap in the direction, and he's going to end up firing. So this could be used if he was facing and he had multiple enemies. So he had another baddie. This is kind of the harder bad guy that will get aggressive when within a certain vicinity of the player. He could tap, attack, tap, attack. Okay, and that would shoot an arrow to the left and then to the right. Now, when the player ends up getting to navigating around to the boss battle, so he navigates around. This would be the dungeon that he can go into when he's ready, and he could really do it at the very start, even before he has any weapons. He could go and attack the dragon that is hurting the townspeople to hopefully get the orb that would allow him to transport back to his own reality so he can be back with his family. Okay, so this is just kind of giving an idea of the types of controls and how things will kind of flow. And I will attach the UI controls using the Lucid chart. All right, thank you.